Right, here's my quick overview of the new Final Cut X. We've got a new project, new event just started here. I'm going to click Import Files, and then I'm going to run onto some footage that I've already got. Let's see. So you import this footage in, and then you can drag it down onto your timeline. That's all easy enough. Now, as you're doing all of this, in the background, your clips, if they need to be, will be being rendered out. And if the audio needs analysing, if you're analysing the clip for any kind of stabilisation or anything like that, that will also be happening. So if you go to Window, you can actually go to, where are we? Background tasks. So in the background task area just here, we see anything that's happening, whether it be transcoding, importing, media management, rendering, or sharing if you're exporting videos out, sending them wherever you're sending them. A couple of quick things. If we go over to the right hand side just here, we have access to all of our media and effects and titles and transitions. So that's all over the right hand side just there. At the moment, I'm looking at the effects panel, and that's for audio effects and video effects. There are some new effects in there and other ones from Logic, for example, that you can now just drag and drop in. Video effects are interesting. There's a new section called Looks, and this is similar to Magic Bullet Looks in that you can drag it across. It gives you instantly a certain look to your video. Some of them have quite a lot of configurability. Others, you can literally just vary how much of the look you're actually dropping onto your clip. So for example, I'll just drag this one across, changes how the clip looks, and then in the top right hand section just here, we have information about the video. We can see that the effect is at the top just there, and I can change how much of it I actually use in that clip. So maybe I think that that looks quite nice. I'll just leave it at that. Also in this section, going away from the effects for a moment, in this section we have our new color correction tool. Now the color correction tool is a little bit odd if you've used a color wheel in any of the previous versions of Final Cut. So we will go to color correction 1. And now we have this linear color correction, which I'm still getting my head around. There's a global setting. You've got the shadows, midtones, and the highlights. And then you have a saturation section as well. And again, it's a similar kind of thing with an overall gain just there for the global. And then exposure, that's something which we haven't seen in Final Cut, but had seen in new versions of iMovie and also in iPhoto and things like that. You can adjust the exposure for each of the different channels. So the midtones, you can bring that down or up. It's quite a handy tool, actually. I have used it in iMovie once or twice when I downloaded a new version just to see what it was all about. So I'm kind of glad that's included, but I'm a little bit sad to see the color wheel go, and I haven't seen a way that you can actually change the way that it actually looks. There are presets at the bottom just here, so you can just select any preset you want. Fall sun. It makes it look absolutely horrible with the effect that we've got on just there, but it might work well on some clips. So if we go back to the overall view of what's going on in the video just here, we'll take that color correction off, and we will take the old world effect off. We also have transformation, so you can obviously squash and do whatever you want to the clip, rotate. Cropping, self-explanatory. Distort, again you can squadge it over to one side or whatever you want to do. And then stabilization, if you check this one, it will start analyzing the clip for any stabilization that it can apply, and then you can apply it like that. I've tried it a bit and it does work well, so that's a useful feature to have in, much more useful than the previous version of Final Cut. Rolling shutter, and again that's something that we saw in iMovie before but is now in Final Cut, which is nice. Compositing mode. Before, all of this could be accessed, but you would usually do it with a right click on the video just here, and then you'd be able to bring up the compositing mode and that kind of thing. So it's all in this area now, which is nice to have it all in one area. Because they've got rid of the viewer, it all has a bit more space. Audio, again, if you have any effects applied to your audio, they'll be applied just here, so you'll see it just there. And then you have the panning and the volume, audio enhancements. You can do automatic audio enhancement in this program now, and also it will tell you a bit more about the audio as well. So if you go over to info, it gives you more information about your clip. And again, previously you'd have to right click item properties to find out all of this, but now it's very quick and easy to get to, and you can see instantly what format what frame rate it's at, and any other notes or taggings that you've added in. So that's quite nice. The automatic enhancements that you can add are the magic wand just here, so you can automatically balance the colours. You can also match colours to a different clip, which is a handy feature if you want to just do some quick colour correction, not sure how to get it to look a certain way. That could be useful. Auto audio enhancement, again, that's a similar thing. Now in the timeline just here, when I first opened it up, it was, I'll turn it back on, you'll be able to see, it was automatically scrubbing whenever I had the timeline selected. I can't get it to do it now. No, it will not do it. In any event, when I first fired it up, as soon as the mouse skidded across the timeline, if the timeline was selected, it would automatically scrub through the track. I find that incredibly annoying, because if you're trying to find a place or you're trying to just move the mouse across, you get this burst of noise and burst of flickering images. So you can turn that off quickly and easily, I am glad to say, just there. So that's nice for some people, I suppose, if you're used to the whole iMovie thing, but I just instantly turned it off when I found out how. Coming back over to the effects for a brief moment, a lot of the effects categories that you would have been used to before no longer exist in the same way. So you've got distortion effects, which you kind of did have before, but not in the same way. And then blurring is self-explanatory, and all basic effects just there. Again, all of these effects are almost just presets rather than effects themselves. So in previous versions of Final Cut, you had a lot of effects that you could stack together to make these presets, but here it's mainly just giving you the presets. I'm in two minds as to whether this is good or not. I really like Magic Bullet Looks, which I cannot use in this software now. Waiting for a 64-bit update. Hopefully Red Giant are on that already. And actually any other plugins you can't use now. It just isn't going to happen until people rewrite their plugin software to actually accommodate Final Cut X. So these are what you're stuck with for now. You can quickly and easily see all the photos that are on your computer, whether it be in Aperture or iPhoto, which is nice. Easy to grab those now, same as in iMovie. Any music or sounds that are on your computer can also be located in GarageBand or in Logic or in iTunes. So that's all easily accessible. You just grab that and throw it across. Transitions, they've got a lot of new transitions in here, and a lot of them again are like presets, almost like effects themselves. Things like lens flares and lighting transitions, kind of like Crumplepop's Luminu, which I recently looked at. Static bursts, again, all things that you could do before, but perhaps things that would have required a little bit more fiddling around to actually come up with, or maybe even some work in motion to come up with. So it's nice. A lot of them look extraordinarily tacky. I'm sure some people find them useful, but probably in all likelihood I find myself just sticking with the standard ones and perhaps a burst of static or a light noise transition every now and again if it was appropriate, but I certainly won't be using them all the time. Titles, again, if you're familiar with iMovie, you will be familiar with some of these titles. It ranges from very workmanlike, simple titles, some nice, almost kinetic writing titles, which could be fun if not overused. And there's absolutely loads and loads, including some which are more for like sports teams, where you have scores and yeah. So in this one you've got scores that you could put in, and I think there's a drop zone you could put the photograph of a team in there, stats, that kind of thing. Useful for some people, but a lot of people won't touch that at all. Generators has been revamped somewhat, and it's now very easy to take a blob, for example, just here, and drop that in. And in fact, actually, let's do that. Have a look. Yeah, and again, you can apply all the same. It acts like a video clip, so all the same transformations and editing options are available just there. Finally, we've got themes. Yeah, just for overlays and titling over the top of video clip. Most of it isn't going to be much use to most people, but there's loads of iMovie-esque ones in there. You can take the information bar out to give you more space, and you can take that out just by re-clicking on any of those, and then the timeline just automatically fills the space. That's another thing, this is all one window now. It doesn't actually break apart into separate windows, at least not that I've seen. In the actual video viewer just here, you can apply Ken Burns pan and zoom. Once you've done it, it's actually very easy to change. Before, you would have to do some kind of keyframing in the motion section of a video tab, but yeah, that's kind of taken the headache out of doing that. It's very easy to do, and you can just access it simply and easily in the video viewer just there. Overall, I think it's going to take a lot of getting used to. Whenever you're very used to a set system, it's going to be difficult to transit to something else. A lot of things in here seem a tiny bit crass, but I'm sure that it'll be refined over time, and so many of the features are actually really worthwhile, like the automatic audio syncing. That's just going to save a huge amount of time, and if you've got loads of clips, you can sync all the audio up between them, and that's fantastic. Before, you'd have to have pluralize to do that, or you would have to actually manually go through and find a sync point, and if you don't use a clapper or something, that could be really tiresome. So that's my quick overview of Final Cut X. If anyone has any questions, leave them below. I will be looking at this in more detail and obviously having more of a play with it, so I might do an updated video at some point, although I'm sure lots of people will be doing reviews and overviews of this over the next few days. Thanks for watching.